we're going to be seeing just how long we can stay completely off the grid in our van. We spent 9 months building this van out to be the ultimate off-grid and fully self-contained vehicle, but we've never fully tested its off-grid capabilities. We're going to treat this as a challenge, so we're going to fill up our water tanks, refill our empty gas bottle, we're going to stock up on food, and the challenge will end when we either need to fill our tanks, refill a gas bottle again, if we need to plug into power, or if we need to buy food. The only exception to this is going to be diesel, because we don't want it to limit how we're traveling. So we've got close to 200 litres of fresh water. We can also plug a hose in like this and run it off main, so all of our shower and sink and all that just runs directly from the hose, bypassing the tanks. But this will be the last time we're filling our tanks as part of this challenge.
Where now?
To the shops.
To the shops.
Back door's open.
Back door's open.
So food's not going to be an issue, but we're going to stock up anyway.
99 cents. Avocados. Steal. Don't steal.
Absolute bargains.
Hang on, slow down, sir. You're off on hurry.
There we go.
Cherries. I want cherries, but they're not cheap.
We've got a full shop, including some essentials, which should see us through this challenge. We've even gotten a thing of drinking water because we're not sure exactly when we're going to run out of water or where a point will be to fill it up. Every nook and cranny is now filled with food. We even got some extra pasta in case things get desperate towards the end of the challenge. We're on our way to our first camp. Brooke's already getting into the shopping. She's got herself an advent calendar.
I haven't had one of these since I was a kid.
It's the 5th of December though.
Got to get through it.
So she's decided she's got to get through those first 5 days.
Makes sense.
All at once.
Yeah.
So we've just arrived at our first campsite in McLaren Vale, just south of Adelaide. Ignore that bird if you can hear it. Beautiful views over the ocean, and I'm going to give you a bit of a quick tour over the system and how we're going to be keeping track of how we're doing. So in here we've got our control panel. We've got our switch for our inverter, our tank gauges. The gauge on the left there you can pretty much ignore. That's for our grey water, and for whatever reason doesn't always work. I think because the water is maybe a bit slimier or thicker, it sticks on the sensor. So even when the tank's empty, it still shows it being full, but that's not that important. The other 2 gauges on the right and in the middle, they're our freshwater tanks. So as you can see, we've just filled up, so the tanks are full. The next one along is our solar system stats. So we've just been driving from Adelaide down to our campsite. We've also been a little bit in the sun. It's been a bit overcast, but we are sitting at 100% at the moment. We've got 400 amps of lithium, so we're in a good spot to start this challenge off. On the roof, we've got 600 watts of solar, which is one of the ways that we charge our system. So if it's cloudy like it is at the moment, that's going to factor in. The other way we charge our system is with a DC-DC charger, so that charges the batteries from the van's alternator while we're driving.
Hey, what are you doing?
Making dinner.
Okay. Let me just monitor the amount. Oh, I reckon that. I reckon. Is that enough?
You reckon that's enough?
Oh, maybe.
First bit of water. Probably could have planned the meals a little bit better, so I didn't have to like boil things. Got a few pastas and things planned, which in hindsight isn't the smartest.
I can forgive and forget because of what's coming out of this.
Kartoffelsalat.
With some hot dogs.
Oh yeah. Inspired after our trip to Harbour. Secret to a good potato salad, believe it or not, is
I'm falling.
apple. What sort of water levels you got going on here?
Minimal.
Minimal. Well,
Probably like,
that's what we want to see.
what do you reckon?
There's only a couple of litres.
We're on a bit of a lean here tonight. So she looks like on one side it's like 25%, but on the other side it's like 5%. So depends on which side.
Good levels. Good stuff.
Yeah. Starting off strong.
We normally shower every day, but we showered this morning at the caravan park we're at. So I'm going to skip that and save that water. But let's check the stats for where we're at today. Oi, still showing we're full. It only works in 20% increments though. And we're at 90% power. You can see down here is what's going out at the moment. It's about 100 watts going out because Starlink's still on. So I'm going to turn Starlink off now to save power overnight, and we'll see what our power's at in the morning. Good night. Good morning. It's actually a bit of a grey morning today, a few drops of rain falling on the van. It's time for a coffee, but first I'm going to show you where we're sitting this morning. So I've lost 6% of charge overnight. That's mainly due to the fridge, which comes on and off through the night, and we've also got a little fan. The coffee machine is the biggest appliance that we run, so I'll flick that on now, but first I'll turn the inverter on. So there you can see the coffee machine's pulling 1.3 kilowatts or 1300 watts. Well, we're heading off. Gonna go beach hopping along the Fleurieu Peninsula. Where are we staying tonight?
We don't know. There's a few options.
Say bye to Darren.
Bye, Darren.
See you, Darren.
Bless.
Probably the nicest head camp host we've ever had.
Yeah. So lovely.
We've just pulled up to Selix Beach for lunch. Haven't really driven that far, but we're back up to 100%. Thanks a lot to the DC charger. So as you might be able to guess, the solar side is not really going to be a massive part of this challenge.
3 days later.
Thank you. Now we've just arrived at the Stringy Bark Campground, which is in the Deep Creek Conservation Park, and initially we weren't going to book this because it's $36.50, and I just was like, an elm-powered site in a national park for that much is a little steep. However, I am now realising why, because it is so beautiful around here, and they even have hot showers. That's what I've read anyway, so it might be worth it. It's really beautiful. So we have a cute little table and chairs here, and it looks like someone's decided to carve out a little seat from the stump, which is quite cute, and already lots of bird life. We've seen some rosellas and also this little magpie.
Alright, time for a shower. Now there are showers at this campground, but to stay true to this challenge, we're going to use our shower, but I'm going to try and save as much water as we can. So I've waited for Brooke to run the water for the sink, which means I don't have to run the shower and wait for it to get warm. So save a few litres there. So just set it to a nice warm, spicy temperature. have a shower.
So we've both showered and brushed our teeth, done everything we need to do before we go to bed. So it is now the end of day 2 and this is how we're sitting. So let me turn around actually. So for the tanks, one is down 1 bar and the other is down 3. And for solar, 92%. Not bad. Good night.
Before we leave camp this morning, we're going to go for a little walk, see what birds we can spot.
Boom. Bam. Boom. Bah.
Lots of birds out, although quite far away, so not the best for photography. We did spot a black cockatoo in a tree hollow. There's one making some noise now. It was definitely a nice walk in amongst the gut.
Give me a home among the gum trees, slay all the plum trees. Hey, a kangaroo, a kangaroo, a kangaroo out the back. How's it go again?
Something like that.
No wonder the birds aren't coming out. Lots of birds far away. Julia spotted one in a tree hollow. Fantastic.
We just stopped in at the little town of Victor Harbour for lunch and a little look-see. Put the gas on and we ran out on one of our bottles. Luckily we have a spare.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not like a broken stove, it's just an out of gas bottle.
Yeah. That's why you have 2. Luckily we got a fresh bottle filled up the other day. Caution, horses may bite. Just back.
No.
Oh, it stinks. It stinks. That horse literally just backed up and farted at us.
It's because you're trying to wolf whistle it over here. He's like, piss off, mate.
We just pulled up to our campsite outside Langhorne Creek and our solar system is back up to 100%, even though it's been quite cloudy, but because we did about 2 hours driving, the system is fully charged. So I'm getting dinner underway, classic spaghetti bowl tonight, just using up all of the meat. So this is our last meat dish, so then we don't have any meat stored in the fridge for the rest of this challenge.
Just about to hop in the shower, I've just noticed this. Ugh.
The middle one is the tank that has the pump. Good luck.
So like, can I shower?
Give it a go.
I don't want it to run out mid-soap. What if I'm soaped up?
I don't think the sensor goes all the way to the bottom of the tank.
So you think it'll be right? And you're just going to waste the water brushing your teeth, are you?
I use toothpaste, not water.
Oh, you got to rinse it off. What about 83%? Forecast not looking good. Forecast for the next couple of days is like torrential rain. So in terms of solar, I think we need to stay here for a night or two to make sure we're not driving in intense
Potentially.
weather. Because I think it's like some parts of South Australia is meant to get over 100 mils. Hopefully not here. So the solar...
Extreme.
Sorry?
I'll just spit that out. Extreme fire danger followed by torrential rain
Yeah.
and flooding.
So not ideal. So in terms of solar, the next couple of days, if we're not driving anywhere, not ideal. And water, well, there's going to be a lot of water outside.
You put a drain in.
Oh, it's gone down to 2 reds now. 2 reds? That's bad.
That's not good. Good or well.
Oh.
How's it going for you?
Yeah, so good. So
So
far,
good.
so good.
So you got through your shower?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Day 4 of this challenge and a little bit of a change of plans. We were either going to stay at this camp another night or go to Coorong National Park, but there's a bit of a weather event coming.
South Australia is staring down the barrel of a cocktail of dangerous weather that's forced the cancellation of dozens of major events.
Extended blackouts are expected.
So, firstly, they're expecting severe fire danger
Today.
today
Which we're
around
feeling.
Adelaide Hills. It's quite hot. There's a lot of wind, and then to follow that, there's a lot of rain. So some parts over on the Eyre Peninsula are expecting up to 120 mils across the weekend.
Yeah, so Coorong National Park is where we were going to go. It's like a beach camp, but they've closed that for 24 hours because of the high fire danger. So pretty much all of the national parks in South Australia, I mean, there might be some that aren't, but majority are closed. So we can't go there.
Including Deep Creek, where we were yesterday has been closed. So yeah, and we don't want to stay here because it's going to get wet and windy.
Yeah, and then we pretty much, like, we don't want to drive in bad weather. So pretty much...
We're running away. So we're going to go to another free camp about an hour down the road, which is, the forecast is not as bad there.
Yeah, still wet, but not as wild. All right, bon appetit. There you go.
Thank you.
Bowls appetit.
Just went to fill the pot with water to make pasta, and I think the tanks are finally actually out of water. While the tanks underneath are empty, we have a plan for that. All right, so not this is for when we actually run out of water. But back here, we've got a whole other tank of water. It doesn't have a sensor on it. I can turn this tap here, and that fills up one of our tanks underneath, and the 2 tanks are linked, so we've got more water. End of the day, and after we've both showered, this is how we're sitting. Drop 1 bar off that tank, and 84% on the solar. Day 5, and we haven't talked about the toilet situation yet. So if we had a cassette or a chemical toilet, we would have had to change that by now, but we don't. We've got a composting toilet, so we normally get about 4 to 5 weeks out of the toilet before we have to change the solids compartment. It's mid-morning now. I think we've missed the worst of the bad weather, but it's pretty wet out there. We've just decided to bunker down at this site. The solar input we're getting is pretty dismal at the moment. It's not keeping up with our demand, so we've got Starlink and a few lights running, and yeah, solar isn't keeping up, so we're just running on our batteries at the moment. Sitting at 71% at the moment, and on average we're sitting at about 60 to 70 watts discharge. It's a bit of a catch-22 with solar when you have weather like this, because this is when you tend to use more power, like being inside. You know, we've been on the laptop, Starlink's been running all day, just made another coffee. So solar's down to 61%. So starting to push the system a little bit now. Look at this, it was so hot yesterday that our bickies melted together, and today it's so cold that we're sitting under the doona. Just making some dinner, some ravioli. Actually, agnolotti, if you know what the difference is, let us know. But I wanted to show you this. We're down to 49% on the batteries. That's really low for us. We normally get down to about 80 to 90% at our lowest, but in saying that, we haven't had a period of rain like this at all for the whole sort of 6 months we've been on the road. But have a look at this, because I think it's kind of interesting. So you can see this here is our current power use, and that is the time remaining before our batteries are flat. Theoretically, we can get them down to 0%, but practically it shouldn't really go below 20%. But the Mac is running at the moment. Can you just turn that charger off? So Brooke's just going to turn the Mac charger off. And you see the power demand drops away. And we're now up to 18 hours of battery remaining, 19 hours, 20. And so every little thing like that drains our battery. We still have Starlink on at the moment, and with that and the inverter, that's about 90 watts. So that's most of that power that we're using at the moment. So while it's saying about 22 hours left in our batteries when the Mac's off, when we turn Starlink off at night to go to sleep, that's obviously going to drop the power use way down, so we will get more out of that. And it's also dark at the moment and we weren't really getting any solar, so if you're getting power in the day, that changes that a lot as well. Day 6, I have drained the last of the water from the top tank down into the lower tank. Our solar is sitting at about 37%, which is one of the lowest levels we've ever seen it at. Still pretty cloudy, but we are getting a little trickle of solar coming in. And this campsite is a pretty interesting concept as well that we're at. So you can stay for free, which is where we're staying. But if you want power and water, you can park up next to the meter, tap your card on there. I think it's like $15 or something you can plug in and get power, probably for like 24 hours. And if you want to have a hot shower, I think it was like $5 and you can pay to go and use the facilities. But for us, we just parked here for free. So we're going to clean up this messy van and move on to the next site. And getting on the road is going to be good for our solar system as well to boost those batteries up a little bit.
We've now arrived at our next spot, which is the Granites. And in terms of solar, we drove probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And the solar is sitting at 66%. And this is our water, although that probably wouldn't have changed much. Rear tank is pretty much still full. Now it is a bit windy, so we are going to bunker down, have some tea.
Is that the last of our milk?
I think so.
I'm gonna be sad if we run out of fresh milk before water.
I think you'll be right for your morning coffee, which is what you're referring to.
It's the most important thing to have fresh milk for coffee. We do have long life in case we run out, but we bought 6 litres in that shop actually. Probably a bit crazy for living in a van. I just realised that that's 1 litre a day and we haven't had any cereal. It's just tea and coffee.
You use a bit for coffee, don't you?
Oh, and I made pancakes this morning actually, so there was a cup in that. We made it through a whole week off-grid. The only question now is can we get through one more day? It's also incredibly windy here. At one point last night I thought the van was going to get blown over. So we're going to pack up, try and find another spot, hopefully a bit more sheltered. Just pulled into a little town called Beachport to have some lunch. If anyone knows South Australia, is it always this windy? Like it's just relentless. So we're gonna have some lunch and then continue on. So we found another free camp we've set up here, throwing together dinner at the moment. We're starting to run low on pretty much everything. Ran out of the last of the milk this afternoon for afternoon tea.
That's bad.
The water is also getting incredibly low.
Ooh, that's bad.
We were on 2 bars before, but that gauge is very, not great. So when I filled up my water bottle and put the potatoes on, it's now showing it on all red. The real question is, are we gonna get 2 showers out tonight? don't know. And our solar system got back up to 100%
That's good.
with the sort of 2 hours driving we did, plus a little bit of, not sun, but not as overcast and rainy as it was the previous days. So yeah, that's kind of where we're sitting at the moment. So yeah, it's been 7 full days off grid, which I think is pretty good. We've had 5 showers each in that time. I think this was a really interesting challenge for us to do because we've never really pushed to see how far that is, and obviously water was the key one because we don't have any way of replenishing that other than by hooking up to mains and filling it up. I normally like to make sure we have water, so we tend to top that up every sort of 4 to 5 days, I'd say, normally. So with solar, I actually didn't expect that to be as much of a challenge as it was. We've been off grid for a full 6 months with the solar, so it's been going great. We haven't needed to plug that in. So the solar side of it works really well. But yeah, that rain kind of threw a spanner in the works that I wasn't expecting. With gas, we normally get 5 to 6 weeks with each bottle, and we've got 2 bottles, so we get somewhere in the range of 10 to 12 weeks. And then having the composting toilet is another element that helps. That lasts a while without needing to change that out. And then a few other factors, like the shower has a super efficient shower head in it, so that saves us a lot of water. And we could probably stretch this out as well if we had even shorter showers, or if we showered every second day or whatever. Like a lot of people doing van life, they don't even have showers in the vans. Like, you know, sometimes you'd like bump into someone, they're like, I haven't had a shower for 6 days. So, you know, if you do, maybe not that far, but if you spaced them out or whatever, you could, I think, stretch it out a fair bit more than what we did. But 7 days, I think, is pretty impressive. Question for you. Do you want to shower first and potentially have it run out, but maybe get a shower? Or do you want me to take that risk?
You. What's going on in there? No good?
I'm done. But
So-
there's no water.
So it just ran out.
Yeah.